Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Oh, boy. What's happening over there?
I thought we weren't doing props. I thought we were doing with props.
I'm going to let my math speak to me today. But you know what? It has been so long since I've been able to do this. How about them Cowboys?
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're right. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Salvation.
Okay.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Well, I will give you a little one. How about the Lakers?
Yeah.
How about
Okay. How about that, LeBron? We'll talk about that. Here we go.
How
You've been
about
real good this morning.
Guys, how about Cam getting stuffed? We have so much to get to today on Undisputed, but only appropriate that we start with Skip's team and a comeback for the ages yesterday when they found themselves down 20 in the first quarter. The Falcons led by 15 with under 5 minutes left, but then it was all Dallas. A pair of Dak touchdowns through the air and on the ground brought it within 2 points. Then came the onside kick that the Falcons watched dribble 10 yards, and the Cowboys jumped on. Dak connected with CeeDee Lamb on a 30-yard pass to put Dallas deep in Atlanta territory to hit the game-winning field goal as time expired, and we saw a very happy Jerry celebrating as well. Shannon, how lucky were the Cowboys to win this game?
Well, they got very lucky. Skip, to make a long story short, the Falcons gagged. ESPN, and I got to give them credit, Skip, they put a stat. They started keeping turnovers in 1933. And when a team scored 39 points, had 0 turnovers, the teams were 440 and 0.
And 0.
Skip, let that sink in for just a
I
second.
know that stat. It's a great stat.
440 and 0 since 1933.
Correct.
And remember just, what was it, 3 years ago, Skip? The largest deficit overcoming a Super Bowl was 10 points. This same Falcons team allowed a team to overcome a 25-point deficit.
28-3.
Skip, they gagged this one away. The Falcons just kept, and I want to give the Cowboys defense some credit, because if they let one of those, when they held the Falcons to a field goal, if they let one touchdown, Skip, I'm not so sure they overcome that. So give them credit. But still, when you have a 15-point lead with 5 minutes or less to go in the ball game, Skip, you've got to close that deal. And then I'm looking, okay, they onside kick. Since they instituted the new rule now, Skip, you can't get a running head start. You cannot leave until the kicker kicks the football. So now the chances of you getting blown up has greatly diminished because they don't want those types of collisions.
Yep.
Skip, they onside it, and the Falcons are watching the ball. They're like, they let it go 10 yards. There's 2 guys, I think, number 17 and then Hurst, who they traded for from the Ravens.
Hayden Hurst, yep.
All you had to do, it goes 6 yards, 7 yards, just jump on it. They can't touch it before it goes 10 yards, but you can touch it after it goes 1 yard.
You can pick it up and run with it.
Pick it up and run with it. We've actually seen that.
Seen it.
So the Falcons gagged this away. I don't know how Arthur Blank leaves Dan Quinn in his job. There's no way. This is unforgivable. This is atrocious. You cannot lose this game. And by him gagging, Skip, it took Mike McCarthy off the hook for some of the bonehead decisions that he made.
Agreed.
They let him off the hook, Skip. They had him, in the words of the great Denny Green, rest his soul. They had him, and they let him off the hook.
They did.
Skip, this is. I've never seen anything like this, and I've been following football. I played the game, and I've been covering it. I've never seen an epic collapse like this. Skip, this is worse than the Super Bowl. And how Dan Quinn remains in this job, there's no coming back for this, Skip. They're going to be awful. They gagged this. I want to give the Cowboys. I won't say, Skip, because at the end of the day, a team can gag, but if you don't keep yourself in position, nobody will remember that they gagged it and tried to give it away. But give the Cowboys credit. Dak kept making plays. And when you get a big lead like that, Skip, it's hard. I've always said I felt it's easier to play from behind than when you get a big lead, because they just don't want to give you anything cheap and deep. They're going to let you nickel down, first down here, first down there, first down. And then Dak got into a rhythm, and the next thing you know, there's nothing they could do to stop him. But the Falcons gagged this one off, and Dan Quinn, Skip, I'd never call for anybody's job, but I don't see how he has a job this morning. He couldn't even got on the plane with me going back to Atlanta. He'd had to find his own way from DF Dub.
By the way, you still have a home in the ATL.
I actually have a home. I might sell it now. I don't want nobody to know I'm from Atlanta.
I agree with every word you just spoke, and I don't care. I am so happy. My team is 1-1, miraculously 1-1.
Miraculously.
And your team, the Eagles, is a pathetic mess at 0-2.
They're pathetic. They are.
I'm stunned. I would have bet 1,000 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that my team was going to lose that game on that onside kick.
Yes.
I cannot front. I cannot tell a lie. The only thing I liked about yesterday's game was that they somehow won it. I still don't know how they won it, but they did. Every sign points to L. Every sign pointed them toward your restaurant at the end of the night where you only serve losers.
I thought they were coming in, Skip. I thought they were coming in.
It took the all-time miraculous blunder by the Falcons for this to happen.
Yes.
As you point out, under the new safety-first rules, you can't even get a head start.
You can't.
It is virtually impossible to recover an onside kick.
Right.
But Greg the Leg Zuerlein, our new kicker, and we also have a new special teams coach that you watch grow up in Denver, right?
John Fossil.
John Fossil, Bones Fossil.
Yep.
They tried something I've never seen before. They put the football on its side without a tee.
Right.
They just sat it on the carpet on its side.
Right.
And Atlanta seemed a little caught off guard, so Atlanta called timeout.
Right.
I don't know what they discussed during the timeout, but they certainly didn't discuss, hey, if it doesn't go 10 yards, fall on it.
Right.
Pick it up, run with it.
Right.
It's your ball.
Right.
So what happens? Greg the Leg takes one step up to the football, and he barely boots it. He just gives it a little touch boot. And he whirly-birds it sideways, clockwise.
Right.
So it's doing this, right?
Right.
It's whirly-birding toward the Falcons. And what did my...
Your mic fell. Did it fall?
Hold on. Oh, now we got to do this. Okay. Sorry about that. I'll just hold it. The rest
go
of it.
ahead.
Okay, I'm too excited. But the ball is whirly-birding, and what is it doing while it's whirly-birding?
It's going
It's actually crawling sideways.
Right.
It's going sideways toward the 10-yard marker.
Right.
And not one or two. I count 5 Falcons.
Yes.
5 Falcons have a shot at falling on the football.
Yes.
5 times? That's impossibly wrong.
Right.
And all 5 look like they're hypnotized. Am I right?
Yes.
It looked like, you're getting sleepy, you're getting sleepy. They're just watching it whirly-bird and whirly-bird and whirly-bird, and it crawls sideways and actually gets to the 10-yard marker. And C.J. Goodwin, who's just a special teams player, who, by the way, was on the Falcon squad when they blew the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. So he knows how it feels in reverse.
So he's probably telling guys, they're going to gag this away.
They're going to gag it. He's looking at him saying, they're going to gag it. And at the last second, right on time, he swoops in and falls on the football. And I fell off my chair. I said, this is impossible.
Right.
And then there's an incompletion, and then my guy, C.D. Lamb, catches a big 23-yarder, but I can't front on this one either, because the truth is...
He passed the fence.
But the DB just falls down. I don't know. There's a little push, but
they don't call it.
Okay, but he just falls down.
Right.
And I love C.D., and he beasts for 23. And then I'm thinking, okay, let's throw one more quick out for 7 yards, because it's still a 48-yard field goal. And what do they do? McCarthy goes zeke, and he goes 2-0 and leaves it from 46, which is not a gimme, right?
Right.
And Greg the Leg, who kicks the weirdest field goals I've ever seen, because they go both ways.
Yeah.
They go left and then they go right. And he knuckleballed one that started left and then sort of faded back to the right and went right through the uprights, right down Broadway.
Skip, I think the thing, but plus he also knows, Skip, if you look at that football when he onside kicks it, those balls just come straight out the box.
Yep.
You see how shiny it is? He knows that if I kick it, it's gonna be slipping and sliding right on that turf.
Okay.
So he know, but the Falcons, Skip, like you said, you can't get a running head start. And since they implemented this new rule, less than 10% of the onsides have been recovered. Because you can't, Skip, they used to do a lot of motion. They'll fake one way, then they fake the other way, and then everybody comes, and you get a head start. But you can't do that anymore.
But it used to be the most dangerous play in football because people were getting hurt.
Right. Skip, they called timeout.
Oh,
yes, yes.
These guys are barreling at you full speed.
Both, because I was on the front line, so you got to pick people, try to pick people off. They have somebody behind, because what they're trying to do, I never saw this kick when I played, Skip. They were trying to hit the high bounce. They would have the guy on the outside, and his job was to try to hit it over your head. So my job was to pick him off to make sure he couldn't get there.
Remember, Carolina tried it yesterday against the Bucks.
Right.
And Gronk finally caught a football, but it was on the onside.
On the onside.
He caught it. But you got to just catch the high bouncer. Okay,
remember Seattle.
Okay.
Seattle would have won the game. I mean, Green Bay would have won the game had the guy did what he was supposed to do. It was the high bounce. He tried it, and they blew him up.
Got it.
Ooh, I still can't believe it. I'm watching this, Skip, just like you are, and they put it up there less than 10% of the onside.
Yeah.
Anytime they put a stat up, I said, well, they've got to get this one. And they hadn't recovered one since 2014.
Okay, so I want you to think about how much my team overcame, how much self-destruction my team overcame to steal this game, because it was a flat-out all-time theft, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Remember, the game starts, my team is not ready to play in its home opener before they estimated like 27,000.
Right.
I think it was 27%, but 26,000.
Right.
It was a lot of people.
Yes.
It was enough that Dallas actually had home field advantage yesterday.
They did.
Okay. And what happens in the first 8 minutes of the game? What happens? My team fumbles the ball 4 times and loses 3 of them. And the other one, Zeke fumbled in the middle of the line, and I still don't know what happened because they gave it back to Dallas. I thought Atlanta's all jumping like, we got it, we got it, we got it. So my point is, they almost lost 4 fumbles in the first 8 minutes of the game. Is that a record?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that's got to be a franchise first quarter record. And my point is, I am ready to fire Mike McCarthy for not having the team focused and ready to play the home opener. That's outrageously wrong.
You thought they had rehired Jason Garrett, huh?
Well, it's beyond. I mean, they never did that. They came out flat a lot of times, mostly on defense, but usually they didn't on offense. And then what happens? Twice on 4th down, and I don't have any problem with the idea of this, the philosophy, but they run fake punts twice to try to get back in the game, and the first one's from their 29-yard line down 14-0.
Yeah.
And they asked the punter to throw what was the equivalent of a 20-yard pass.
Right.
Because remember, he's, 15 yards deep?
He's 15 yards deep.
Okay, it's almost like a 25-yard pass, and it's just a little short.
Right.
Well, what do you expect?
And plus, the guys remember, those are kicking balls.
Yeah.
Those are not the balls that they get an opportunity to rough up.
Okay, and then they try again in obviously the other territory, on the other side of the 50, and they run it up the middle. The safety runs it. Darian Thompson just runs it up the middle, and it didn't fool anybody.
No.
And I'm saying, you're just going to blow this. And then with 5:03 left, this is debatable, but they go for 2. And I said, I don't care if you make it, but you better make it.
Skip, they're saying the analytics are saying now that you go for it early so you have an opportunity to overcome it. I don't agree. Because now, Skip, at least, Skip, you kick the PAT. Now you're down 8. You know you need to. Because if you don't get it here, you're down 9. Yep. There's not a play that you can get 9 points. You can't score a touchdown and go for 3. So.
Okay. And the play they called was a slow developing toss to Zeke with action to the left and then toss right.
Right.
And he took the toss so deep in the backfield, it's blown apart because the Falcons have all night to get in position to cut him off at the pass. And they did. I just didn't like the play call.
I didn't like it either.
And finally, back to my defense. And you said they made a couple of stands and just held in the field. Off both the fake punts, they held in the field goal, which was a blessing. But they gave them 3 and gave them 3. But think about this. To your point about no turnovers, they only sacked Matt Ryan 1 time, and it came with 4 minutes left after they'd already allowed 39 points. And I said Aldon Smith last week at Rams was a revelation. I couldn't find him yesterday.
Did he make him? He had an offsides.
He had an offsides, but he had 5 tackles, 2 solo, and no sacks, None
of the impact plays that we saw the opening night.
Nothing. So they could get little to no pressure on Matt Ryan.
Right.
And he was throwing parties on the Dallas defense, which we expected that he would. We both thought it was going to be high scoring. I thought it was 38-35 Dallas.
Right.
But here's the point about Dak Prescott. This is what I love and don't love about Dak Prescott. He is at his greatest when they are woefully behind.
Right.
When they look like they're dead in the water, this man is a warrior. He will fight you to the death. Guess who led the NFL last year in second half passing yards? Guess who led it? Dak Prescott. Why was that?
Because they always
were behind and behind and behind.
You're right.
Do you realize against Green Bay in that same stadium last year, he actually threw for more second half yards than he did yesterday? 329 against Green Bay. Yesterday was 312.
Right.
But still, for anybody to throw 300 yards passing in the second
Skip,
half,
you know what? You got to give them credit. Even though they fell behind by a lot, they still managed to get Zeke 22 carries.
Okay.
Zeke still got an opportunity. Yes, yes.
And mainly because it was there.
Right.
I mean, he didn't run for 150.
Right.
But he still gouged them.
Yes, yes.
And then the weirdest stat of the day, you ready for this one? This just blows me away. This sums up the whole day for me. You have 3 potential 1,000-yard receivers at wideout, and guess who the leading catcher was? 10 targets, 9 catches to the backup tight end, Dalton Schultz, who is playing only because
Blake Jarwin.
He's gone.
Yep.
As I call him, Shannon Jarwin is gone with an ACL for the whole year, suffered in the opener at the Rams. Dalton Schultz catches 9 passes for 88 yards, and to your point, it was just pitch and catch. They didn't really cover him because they're like, well, he's the backup tight end.
Right.
And I'm not saying he crushed them, but he hurt them in the second half and he catch a touchdown.
Some key first downs. And that's the thing, Skip, is that when you get out to these big leads, you just like, okay, as long as we don't give up 1-play touchdowns or 2-play touchdowns, let's move. Okay, hey, we give you 5 yards here, we give you 6 yards there. Okay, you get a first down. But Dak, to his credit, I'm just going to take what you give me. I don't have to force anything. Nope. I don't have to be spectacular. And a lot of times, Skip, it takes the pressure off you. When you're already down, nobody expects you to come back and win the ball game anyway. So now you can just play free as opposed when the game is nip and tuck and there's expectations. But give Dak credit. He made some big-time throws. Guys stepped up and made plays for him. And that catch by Michael Gallup, Skip, I tweeted. I said, that's a catch. I said his foot hit.
I thought you meant the Amari one-hand.
No, I'm saying with Gallup.
Yeah,
his foot hit in his hand and his butt hit before he lands down outside. I said, that's a catch.
They gave it to him.
Yes, they should have.
Okay. I have to give kudos to my offensive line because, remember, they lost Ty Smith at kickoff with some kind of neck injury that I wasn't looking for.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they have 2 undrafted kids at the tackles. They have to switch, what's his name, Terrence Steele.
Yeah.
He's undrafted rookie out of Texas Tech. He played right tackle. He switches to left tackle, and I think he did a pretty good job. I think so. And Brandon Knight, undrafted.
I think they put Knight at left and put.
I think it was the other way around. I think they switched it over. I think so. That's what I was seeing. But Brandon Knight at right tackle, and they held up pretty well.
They did. McKinney, he hurt his groin, Skip.
And so he was gone.
He was gone first quarter. Yeah, because when you pair him, Grady Jarrett, and Dante Fowler, now all of a sudden, and Grady Jarrett was still doing big things. But give him credit, they did a great job. It gets rough rushing to the passer that many times, Skip, because you see guys all of a sudden they start putting them hands. That's the universal sign. If a guy puts his hand on his hip, don't let it fool you. Talking about he looking cool. No, he tired.
So the moment I thought maybe we have a chance, maybe it's meant to be today, was when Russell Gage, the other wide receiver, he throws a perfect pass to Julio at the goal line, if we could see this.
Yes.
And this is mid-third quarter.
Yeah.
And it's going to put them ahead 36-17, and it would have felt kind of over at that point.
Yeah, I believe it would have been over too.
And he just muffed it.
He short-armed it, yep.
He just hits him right on target, right on the button, right on the hands, and he dropped it.
He never,
And furthermore, he goes down and stays down, and they're going to go for it because it's going to be 4th and 2 from the Cowboy 41.
Right.
So if they go for it and get a field goal out of it, but instead they end up with too many men on the field, and I think it's because he doesn't hustle off the field, okay?
Yeah.
And so they have to punt.
Punt it.
Knocks them back 5 yards, and I thought, uh-oh, I don't know, maybe we got a shot. And Dak drives them right down for a touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 29-24.
Right.
You've got a chance.
Got a chance.
Until the onside kick, and I thought, okay, that's it.
I still don't believe it. I mean, sometimes, the difference between truth and fiction is fiction has to make sense. Skip, this doesn't make any sense.
Nothing makes sense.
This doesn't make sense.
The box score doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing about this day made sense.
And like you said, because of the Falcons' epic collapse, we would have been out here this morning. Yes, we'd have been talking about the loss, but we'd have been talking about those boneheaded plays that Mike McCarthy made.
I agree.
Because I believe he made some egregious errors that helped the Falcons win this ball game. But because they came back, Dak played well, and everybody played offensively, they played well. Defense, when they needed to bow their back, make them settle for field goals, they did that. So they let him off the hook. But, Skip, I'm not so sure you guys are quite out of the woods yet. There's some things that I know you see, that I see, especially defensively, that I don't like.
Well, all they have to do now is go to Seattle and deal with Russell Wilson.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Because he played out of his mind.
So Russell will put up maybe 50 on the Cowboy defense. Maybe we can score 51, though.
But you know what? But Pete Carroll is another one.
Yeah.
He'll give you opportunities by doing dumb things. Now, on a situation like that, Skip, just run the football.
I agree.
Just run it. Why you going for the home run? Because see, that's the same thing.
That's a weird play to run, too. But anyway.
That's the thing, though. See, that's what he does. Remember the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Instead of trying to just go ahead and get the touchdown, he want to throw for it. But Skip, you know what? As bad as the Falcons gagged us, there's no questions about it. But even when you gag, someone has to be in position. And the Cowboys kept themselves in position.
Yep.
But there's no way, if I'm Arthur Blank, I'm allowing Dan Quinn to get on that plane and go back to Atlanta with us.
All right. All I know for sure is right now the Beagles in Philadelphia
Man, go ahead
are 0-2. The Beagles are 0-2, and I'm happy because they look like a disaster.
But you know what, Skip? We're about to be 1-2. We're about to have the same record. So we're going to get Cincinnati. Okay. We'll get Cincinnati. Y'all going to catch that L to Seattle?
Joe Burrow's going to be tough to stop.
Shannon, it's a tough start. I feel you. I mean, geez, I'm a Vikings fan. So, no, I can't speak over here.
No mercy.
LeBron finished with a double-double for the Lakers, but it was Anthony Davis who was the answer down the stretch for L.A. 80 scored the Lakers' final 10 points, including a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer for the 105-103 win. The Lakers now lead the series 2-0. So, Shannon, are you surprised LeBron didn't take that final shot?
Hey, you know what it is right there? That old baby goat. That a baby goat. Straight out of the bubble. You see this? This is the official. Straight out of the bubble. Baby goat. Yeah.
Who sent it to you?
No, just sit there. You can see, Skip.
Rich Paul, Maverick Carter?
No.
Somebody did. Randy,
AD did.
Randy Mims?
AD. That my dog. Skip.
Last night he was.
No, I am not surprised that LeBron didn't take the last shot because they said, AD said after the game, it was drawn up for LeBron. But, Skip, here's the thing. If you see what they did, okay, Rondo's taking the ball out. He has 7-foot Jokic guarding him. Remember now, they bring in Plumlee, who's a leaper, because they don't want anything close to the basket because you got Jeremy Grant, 6'8", 6'9". He's fronting LeBron. What Plumlee does not know, and what Grant doesn't know is that AD is peeling. Plumlee is saying, switch, and Grant was probably thinking, switch what? Nobody's coming to pick me. Why are we switching? So he's motioning for Grant to get out. And Skip, if you remember, right before the shutdown happened, AD had that very shot against the Nets for the game winner.
LeBron brought it up after the game.
The exact same shot. And if you remember the next day, Skip, they showed in practice. Here it is right here. This is the exact same shot.
Yep.
The exact same shot. And now the next day, they're practicing it, and he hit that shot. LeBron says, I put him in that situation again. I know it's gonna happen. And he took that shot. Skip, nothing Anthony Davis is doing surprises me. The only thing is that Anthony Davis is on television every single night. When he was in New Orleans, you look at his numbers. AD was 25-12, 26-12 on a nightly basis. But when you play it in obscurity or you're not competing for a title, nobody cares about those numbers. Everybody says he's putting up numbers in a losing effort. Now he's putting up those exact same numbers in winning efforts. AD has not changed. AD was always, he's a unicorn. Because, Skip, he can shoot the three. He got a mid-range game because he had that going last night. He can put the ball on the floor like a guard, get to the rim. You foul him, he's going to make 80% of his threes. And when you factor in his defense, nobody in the NBA is more complete than Anthony Davis. Not Giannis, because Giannis ain't shooting no threes. He's terrible from the free throw line, and he has absolutely no mid-range game. That's why he gets bounced every year, because once they build a wall, guess what, Skip? He can't get over it. So,
Time out. Does Kevin Durant still play in the NBA?
Skip, hold on.
I'm just asking.
Yes, he does.
It's like he's retired.
Let me ask you a question. Is KD as good a defensive player as Anthony Davis?
He can be in that range. He can be up in that level.
Anthony Davis, when you
talked about wanting to win Defensive Player of the Year before.
Oh, yeah. He should have won it. That guy right there should have won it, Skip. And so, Skip, when you think you draw up a play, and that's the great luxury to have, you draw up a play for one superstar, and they take that away from you, you have the other guy that can take the ball and can make shots. Now, what we heard all season, the reason why the Clippers are going to beat the Lakers is because they're mentally tough. They have more mentally tough guys than the Lakers have. What happened every time the Nuggets made their run at the Clippers? Skip, can you tell the people at home? They fold like a lawn banquet chair at the end of the night. 4 times they had the lead. 4 times the Nuggets walked them down. My guys had a 16-point lead. Jokic is making shot after shot after shot. My guys, he worried about this here. Anthony Davis say, yo, okay, we want to do this. We're going to go tit for tat. Okay, come do this. Jokic did his thing. Anthony Davis followed him up. Hey, Jokic's a load. Now, Skip, the likelihood of Jokic shooting a high percentage from the field is not going to be very good because they got 3 guys that can bother him. You got AD, you got Dwight, and you got JaVale McGee. So he's not going to get easy shots. Down the stretch, the shots that he was making, Skip, man, you just tip it. Hey, you shake the guy's hand and say, man, that's a hell of a shot. But they're contesting it. I'm not surprised AD made this shot. I'm not surprised LeBron didn't take it, but that's a great luxury to have. That's why we're going to win the title, because we have something nobody else. We got 2 legit, bona fide superstars.
Okay, you talked and talked and talked and talked and talked, and it is now my turn. I am about to unleash on everything you just said, because clearly you swept it all under your little rug over there that you have. Your man, LeBron James, at the end of that game, was even luckier than his Dallas Cowboys were a little earlier in the day with that onside kick recovery.
What happened?
Your man, AD, your number 3 jersey that you held up, he took your man LeBron right off the hook at the end of the game, because LeBron wasn't just going to be the GOAT of that game. He was going to be the lowercase GOAT, as in G-O-A-T, as in barnyard GOAT, as in he was going to get all the blame for the blunder of blowing that lead.
He might have had a few turnovers.
Yeah, he had a few turnovers, but let's step back and look at what happened in the fourth quarter. Your man played 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. He went 1 for 6, LeBron did. He was 0 for 3 from 3 because he got off hot, making a couple threes. It's like, I got this. I got this. No, you don't got this. And he had 2 more turnovers, 6 total, but the 2 in the fourth quarter kept reopening the door for the Nuggets. Were the Nuggets outstanding in the fourth quarter the way they were against the Clippers in games 5 and 6? Nope. In games 5 and 6 in the fourth quarter, the Clippers went 7 of 9 from 3. Guess what they were last night in the fourth quarter? 1 of 7. Yeah. They made 1 3, and they should have won the game. 1 3 in the fourth, and they were right there with the 1-point lead. So what happened on the final play of the game? Well, as you correctly surmised, Mason Plumlee got subbed in with 2.1 left. Let's go back just a split second. Okay, so your man Caruso, he takes the 3 to win from the top of the circle.
Right.
It's a little off and a little left. If Denver gets the rebound, you're cooked. You're done.
Yes.
Instead, it goes left hard, and there are lots of hands on the ball, and it winds up in Danny Green's hands, and he's like, I got this. I'm going to shoot it. And Jamal Murray flies across his face and cleanly blocks it. And knocked the ball up in the air. And if Jamal can somehow save it inbounds to a teammate, the game is over. Yes. But he couldn't hold on to the basketball. Okay, so now Mike Malone says, well, they just need a bucket. They just need a point to tie to send it to overtime. They'll probably lob this toward the rim and have AD try to swoop to the hoop and stuff it or get fouled and go to the free throw line, because we know he can make his late game free throws. So what happens? He says, I need Mason Plumlee in there because he's not quite 7 feet, but he can jump.
Well, yeah, he's a leaper.
And he's strong, and he can be
big body. Yes.
Okay. So he's going to guard AD, and Jeremy Grant, as usual, is going to guard LeBron. And to your point, Jokic, with that wily length of his, he's going to be all over. And they subbed in Rondo to throw the inbounds pass because Rondo asked Vogel, he said on the sideline, can I go in and do this? And everybody said, yeah, send. And of course, Frankie V, he doesn't know what to do. He's just like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do. Is LeBron okay with this?
What's going to Skip? Look, you want one of your two best passers to always be on the inbound. So obviously you drew up the play for LeBron, so you don't want LeBron on the inbound, so the next best option is Rondo.
Okay, so here's what happens. Rondo, do we have that sound of Rondo? He described his thought process on the last play. Do we have that? Here we go.
You got it?
Maybe not. Okay,
I think I made eye contact with every player on my team that played. My first look was Kenny backdoor. That wasn't there. Danny backdoor wasn't there. Brian and I looked eye to eye, but he didn't move. And then I saw already coming on the outside and tried to get it to him on time on target. I had Joker on me, so obviously I couldn't throw a live pass, and he did the rest.
Okay, so he says, I locked eyes with all four of my teammates on the floor.
You tried to go backdoor twice.
When I looked at LeBron, he did not move.
Right.
Well, guess why he didn't move? Because he was cold. He wanted no part of the last play that was called for him. He just said, somebody else do it because I am cold. I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to be 1 for 7 at the end of the night. And he just stands still the whole play. He does not move, and Jeremy Grant just stands there like, I guess I don't have to play defense. So what does AD do? Instead of swoop to the hoop, he just cuts across, all the way across the top of the circle, and Mason Plumlee is shocked. He is so shocked.
You know, he's played it for the back door, though, Skip. He's played it for the lob.
Okay, and nothing happens. And all of a sudden, he panics, and he thinks, surely they're going to pick for AD. No, they're not going to pick for AD. No. He's the last option on the play. And he runs to Jeremy Grant like, you take him. And Jeremy Grant's looking at him like, there's no pick here. We're not picking.
Jeremy Grant can't see Skip because he's locked eyes on, he's with LeBron.
Right.
He's fronting LeBron, so he don't know what's going on. No. There might be a vendor on the court selling popcorn at the back end.
No.
He doesn't know. You can't say go pick when nobody comes to pick him.
Nobody's picking him, and he's looking at Plumlee like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
So you have two guys guarding the one guy who's not going to move and who doesn't want any part of the basketball. And all of a sudden, there's the lob to the wing, to AD, and Joker, who has the highest basketball IQ, says, oh, my God, I got to run.
Yes.
So he pivots and runs and flies at AD and got there a split second late.
If AD is not, Skip, if AD is 6'4", Joker probably blocks that shot. Because AD is 6'10 and a half, and because he elevates. Skip, look how high he shoots that jumper and how high the ball goes in the air. Look at Joker. That's as fast as we've ever seen Joker move. Because he's on the inbound, Skip. He sees that Rondo bounce pass it. He pivots, and I got to try.
He tried, and he almost got there.
Yes.
But I got to give AD credit. He shot that with such conviction, such authority. You can tell when a man goes up into a jump shot like he means it. He meant that.
Yes.
And shot it like he thought he was going to make it. And what did he yell when the ball swished?
Kobe.
Kobe! Because they're wearing their Black Mamba jerseys. It's the third time they've worn them.
Always game
3-0, right? And it works. Because he believes it. In his head, he went Kobe. He just, like, he channeled Kobe, and he shot it like he was Kobe against Phoenix the last time they had a walk-off at the end of a playoff game, and Kobe did this, remember? Okay, so the point was that LeBron James has the play called for him, and I don't even know what he was supposed to do. But Shannon, he didn't move.
And that's my thing. I don't know if he thought they were gonna back, play behind him.
Supposed to spin for a lob? Maybe.
And that was the thing. And he's like, hold on. I can't. Rondo's not going to be able to throw a lob over Jokic. I think that was the biggest thing, is that when they put Jokic on the ball, he's like, they're not going to be able to throw the ball over Jokic. There's Jeremy Grant's fronting me. Nobody came to set a pick for him so he could pick, backdoor pick or get to the basket. We saw Danny Green flash to the basket. We saw Caldwell Pope, and he like nothing. This was the only play. Now, I know who they drew the play up, but Rondo had to bounce past this, because that was the only way he was going to get this play in. And for them to take, and for AD to take and make that shot, Skip, and that was the question. You give them to say all done in the fourth quarter. But if you look at these fourth quarters lately, Skip, he's been a monster. He's been a monster.
He's been lately. He wasn't for much of the year. And Barkley went off on him. Charles Barkley did on Inside the NBA again last night, saying he just doesn't have the killer mentality.
Well, I think,
and then he did this. So,
what he said,
actually, Charles reverse jinxed, right?
Well, Skip, what happened is that, and he said this. He said sometimes I think too much.
Yep.
He said I got plays in my head what I want to do. And he's like, and I'm not aggressive as I need to be. He said, but LeBron is always in my ear. Enough with the passing. Go to work. And that's what he Skip. When you're on a new team, Skip, he just wants to do the right thing. You know, they come in with the double team, let me pass out of it. But sometimes in the double team, you go over the top of it. You're Anthony Davis. You can shoot over the top of a double team.
So they should just call off the rest of the
No, Skip, don't do that.
It's a sweep.
No.
You picked it. So you said Lakers in 6. So you think it's going to be 2-2 down the stretch?
I ain't say that. I didn't say that.
Wait, are the Nuggets going to win 2 of the next 4?
You will see the Lakers in Game 3 play more desperate than they have in any other game this year.
Okay, they'll win by 30.
They know they can put a stranglehold on this. They will be aggressive. Skip, LeBron came out ultra aggressive last night, but he also knows, if you look at the third quarter, Skip, he only attempted 3 shots. He knows he has to get AD going. I can get mine, and sometimes it takes him out of his rhythm. But if it takes him out of his rhythm and I can get AD going, AD can bring us home. Because remember, Skip, he only had 9 points at the half.
So you're saying AD is the MVP of the Lakers, right?
There you go.
Well, that's what you just made a case for.
All I'm saying is that you have 2 of those guys. You see what happens when one of your guys goes cold and the other guy can't do anything, kind of like your guys is being home. Now, I need you to stop tweeting. I need you to do me this favor. Say, Shannon, I'm going to stop tweeting, talking about if the Clippers were here, the Clippers would have done this. The Clippers had an opportunity, Skip.
The Clippers would have won both the first 2 games.
No, they would not have.
They'd be up 2-0 right now.
They can't beat the Nuggets.
That's the problem.
So
you got your break, and you got another one last night. AD took LeBron right off that hook.
Well, who going to take us off the hook on Tuesday?
It won't matter. It'll be by 30.
Okay, all right. We had so many crazy games yesterday and crazy finishes. We didn't even know where to start the show today. So how about this one between Cam Newton and Russell Wilson that came down to the final seconds last night? Wilson led the Seahawks with 5 touchdowns, while Cam had nearly 400 yards through the air with a touchdown to go along with 2 more on the ground. Down 5 with 3 seconds left from the 3-yard line. The Patriots called Cam's number again, but this time the Seattle defense stopped him well short to hold on for the win. This game was crazy. Shannon, any problem with the final play call?
I don't, Skip. Cam had his 3rd best passing day of his career. Skip, you always go back to talk about his first 2 games where he was over 400.
But it's the only 2 times in his career he set the bar so high.
And then last night.
Yeah, just remember, he opens up at Arizona. This is in 2011.
Right.
He's a raw rookie starting his first game, and he threw for 422.
Yeah.
And then he goes home and plays Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and throws for 432.
Yep.
And then 1 game passes, and he goes to Chicago and throws for his 3rd most, 374.
Right.
And he almost had 400 last night. And we're in 2020. It's 9 years later.
Skip, I was not concerned about Cam. My only thing about Cam, and I think a lot of people concerned about Cam, is Cam healthy?
Yep.
Skip, you don't accidentally win the MVP. You have to be good for an extended period of time.
Sure you do.
To win the MVP.
Yep.
And he won that award. So this notion like, oh, Cam, no, you don't accidentally win an award. We've seen guys, Skip, that have average careers, and then all of a sudden they get into the Super Bowl and they play an outstanding game. We saw Larry Brown do that. We saw Desmond Howard do that. Skip, we've seen guys have great moments. Sure. Deion Branch. Yep. But to win an MVP, that means you, over the course of a season, you've been exemplary. So we knew Cam had this, but is he healthy? Is that shoulder healthy? Is that foot healthy? And Skip, I think they should allow Cam to throw the ball even more earlier. It's like they got in these situations, they got behind, and they let him throw the football. Let him throw the ball earlier. Let him, they run the ball. I think the thing is on the last play, Skip, Cam had it's a design run, but if Cam would have just let his instinct and not go where they told him to run, he'd have bounced that ball and went outside. Because what the edge rusher does is what we call submarines. He goes up under the blocker. So once he goes up under the blocker, there's no contain outside. Skip, if you look at the tape, The outside is wide open, but Cam is designed to go off the tackle and in between that block.
By the way, that's the second-string corner who was forced to play safety last night because
the guy got thrown out.
Diggs got thrown out.
Right.
But it's Lano Hill who just he just submarined the fullback.
Right.
And got completely up under him and got an ankle.
Right. And so if Cam just veers outside, and if the play before, you remember, Skip, he went like he was going to block him. He slips, Cam throws him. I say, you know what? I can see them running that play again. Because they going to think Cam's going to run this ball, because I knew Cam was going to have the ball. They were going to give him a run. I thought they would give him a run-pass option. But once that guy submarined and blows it up, Cam is dead to right, because Cam never looks outside. If you look the whole while, Skip, he's looking inside. He gets this thing, and he's looking inside. If he just takes one step, once that guy submarines his blocker, he walks in for a touchdown, and the ball game's over. But Cam showed a lot last night. The Patriots are not going to be no... The thing is, they're going to have to win a lot more games with offensively than defensively, Skip, because they're not the same defensive team as they were last year. They can be had because they don't have pass rushers that can consistently get to the quarterback, and that puts a lot of stress on your back end. And they're not nearly as good on the back end as they once were. So they're going to be in some dog fights. Cam is going to have to win more games. This likelihood of Coach Belichick's defense, they're going to have to win games by outscoring people. And Cam's going to have to be like Cam was last night. But that was an old fact. I don't know what it is about the Seattle and the Patriots when they get together, Skip. It's always fireworks. Somehow it comes down to the last play of the game. It happened in the Super Bowl. It happened when they went to New England. When Seattle went to New England, remember Gronk had the last play of the game against Cam Chancellor. And again last night, it comes down to the last play of the game.
Agreed. And before I launch on what I want to say about Cam, let me say yesterday for me was the greatest sports watching day of my life. And I've been doing this for a while, but it was start to finish great. It was Cowboys, Brady, and then again, I'm a big golf fan, so I got DeChambeau just revolutionizing the game of golf at Winged Foot in the United States Open, played in what? In September. It's like it doesn't work. And then here comes, wait a second, we got Lamar and Deshaun.
Right.
And here comes LeBron against the Nuggets.
And then you have Mahomes boy almost catching the L against a rookie starting in his first game.
Right. I didn't even mention Aaron Rodgers threw another big party on Detroit. Okay, well, I give you that. It's early, but he threw another one, although the other Aaron...
Don't do that, Skip. No, you had it right. You had it right.
And then we got this to cap it off. And to your point, every time they play, it's just like madness ensues at the end of the game. And it is so utterly captivating and watchable, as was Cam's whole performance. I got to tell you, I was shocked by it. What did we see in the opener against Miami at Foxborough? He threw only 4 balls that traveled more than 10 yards. It looked like it was run, 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 or bust, right?
Yep.
It looked like they weren't going to let him throw.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, he throws for almost 400. I got to tell you, to my eye test, he threw it better last night than he did in any game in his MVP year.
He threw it. He was throwing it. He did.
He was just throwing missiles. And they were about 90% right on target. Right? And there was one ball to Edelman that could have won the game, and it was just a touch high, just a touch. And Edelman's only about 5'11", so he couldn't get really up much higher than he got.
I think, and plus it had a little bit more zip than probably Edelman is used to. Because Cam throws a tight ball, a nice tight spiral.
He does. Well, he's 6 feet 5 inches tall, and he's like 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right.
So the point was, he was throwing it like he threw it in the first 2 games of his career and the first month of his career. And then I'm not sure what happened from that first month. Somehow, I don't know if he started getting banged up, if his shoulder got banged up. I don't know. Right now, he appears 100% healthy.
He does.
Right?
Yes.
So he was hurting them with his legs because we'd seen him run that quarterback power twice before. He's unstoppable.
Right.
Once he gets ahead of steam, there's nobody who can stop him. It's LeBron-esque going to the basket where he's just too big and strong for anybody.
And they get him a lead blocker. A lot of times it's the fullback. Last night it was a tight end. So now he has a lead blocker like he's an I-back, like he's a running back, Skip.
So they did get a break. First of all, there's no 12th man. There's nobody in the stands, so it's quiet. So if you're ever going to get Seattle in a night game up there, You could get him in this one because it was eerily silent in there. And then what happens right away? Russell Wilson throws it to our man Greg Olsen, and it goes right through his hands for a pick six. Well, you're off to the races.
Right.
So it felt like meant to be. And by the way, from that point on, Russell wouldn't go to him anymore.
Right.
He threw him one other ball, and it was there was a penalty on it.
And that was the thing, Skip. I'm watching the game. I'm watching the game, and I said, well, let me go click and see what's going on with the Patriots in Seattle. And I'm like 7-0. What happened?
What happened?
And
that happened.
That's exactly what I said. I said, oh, that happened.
So Cam also threw one that got pick six by Quentin Dunbar, and he had another one. They were lucky he threw one. It's 9:40 to go in the second quarter. I think we might have this. But this was the other. He made 2 bad throws that are just they're just bad ideas. There's another one. That's a pick six.
Yes.
Okay, so he got away.
You can't be late and inside, Skip. No. See this? Look what it is.
Whoops.
You late.
Whoops. That was Brady-esque, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the point is, he got hotter and hotter as the game went on. And my only problem with the last play call was, I think they just wanted Cam to let instincts take over.
Right.
And he tried to be the Patriot way.
Right.
He tried to be a good soldier.
Right.
And run the quarterback power left.
Right.
The way it's designed.
Correct.
Which is you cut it right off.
Right up inside of the blocker. Right.
Right up inside.
Right.
And he said, when he looked up on the Jumbotron or whatever and looked at it, he said, I was too patient. I tried to be patient and let my blockers set up.
Right.
Well, they were getting mauled at the point of attack because Seattle sniffed it and came with everything.
See, they sold the farm.
Yep.
They're like, Cam Newton is running this ball, and so let's get all of our 11. We're going to be in a confined space. And if they throw a pass, so be it.
They even seemed to know he favored going left.
Yes.
It seemed like the firepower was
well, and plus the back offset, 47, I forget his name. I don't know.
The new fullback.
New fullback, Skip. So he's offset, so more times than not, the runner is going to follow the fullback.
Yep.
So when he's on that side, well, that's where he's going. And so, and like I said, I just think Cam, like you said, the Patriots way, the play calls for me to go up inside because they're going to kick out and I just get up inside. If he's just Cam Newton. Yeah,
if he was MVP Cam and
he bounced that, he walks in the end zone.
You would. Or he just goes somewhere else with it.
Because look at this Skip. Yeah. If he just, all he got to do is just go outside.
Bounce it hard.
If he just bounce it, because the guy's submarine, just go outside.
Because for a 6'5" what is he, 240-ish?
Yeah, 240, 245, easy.
He has good quickness.
Yes. Yeah. And because everybody's congested, I trust Cam. Look at this, Skip. If he goes to the sideline right now, once the guy's up under, if he just goes, he's in. That's touchdown.
Yep. Well, they had sold out.
Yeah.
And he sold right into what they were doing. He bought right in.
Sometimes, Skip, that's what you got to do. You sell out, said, I'm mortgaging the farm, and I believe he's going to do this. And if we guess right, we stop him. We guess wrong, says, hey, we thought this is what they show on film. This is what Cam likes to do in this situation right here. Hey, they got us. They get the steady film also.
Yep.
But I agree with Seattle. I'm selling out to stop Cam Newton. And if they throw the ball, Skip, or if he runs outside, hey, you got me. You got me.
So speaking of you got me, my final takeaway at the end of the night was we have 5 cases of Diet Do Bet on that Brady's record will be better than Belichick's record. And for the longest, I thought you were just dead to rights.
You thought
because I thought it was going to be Stid, as in Jarrett Stidham, and right now...
Stid can't even get active.
He can't even get active, and they would be 0-2 with Stid, in my humble estimation.
Absolutely.
And you would be done.
Yes.
And instead... I think you got a shot.
It's going to come down to the wire. It might come down to the last couple of weeks of the season, Skip.
Because, again, you do play in a much easier division, so you can stack some wins, even though I told you by one-loss record, they still play the toughest schedule. But now they get to go home and play the Raiders, right? Who are playing on...
I don't know if you, Skip, I don't know how much you watch Buffalo, but, man, Josh Allen. Man, Josh Allen was, He was dealing.
No, he was dealing.
He was dealing yesterday.
I forget what it was. It was in the 90s, his QBR. Yeah. Was really good.
I mean, he threw for 417.
Yeah.
And they can't bring him down.
They almost lost.
Yes.
Because Fitzmagic was magic.
You know, Skip, you look, he's going to have a stretch. He's going to have like a 10, 12-minute stretch where he's going to be dealing. Yeah. You just got to weather that. Buffalo weathered it.
Well, let's talk about Tom Brady's shout.
Talk about Tom Brady.
No mercy.
Tom Brady got his first win in a Buccaneers jersey yesterday. The 43-year-old quarterback had 217 yards passing to go along with a touchdown and interception. It was Leonard Fournette who led the ground attack with 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the one to ice it with less than 2 minutes remaining. And after the game, Brady said, quote, "It was a little bit better. I think we still are a long way from where we need to be." So on Undisputed, we like to give out letter grades around here. So Shannon, give Brady a grade.
I'm going to give him a C-, Skip. I thought he was okay, not great. I still think, his QBR, he was 54. He had 54 QBR, which was 21st in the this week behind Jeff Driscoll and Sam Darnold. 23 of 35, 217, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Probably should have had a second touchdown. Shady McCoy flat out dropped it. There's no excuse for that. Had great protection, only got hit 1 time, but he's still a little off, Skip. And I think the thing is, eventually, Broussard, as stubborn as it is, he's going to have to go back and says, Tom, let's do what you do best. Let's implement a lot of what you do, Skip. Because if you look at it, Skip, he had 14 targets to the running backs and the tight end. And you and I both know that's not BA's offense. BA's offense is to push the ball down the field. And Tom is still not quite comfortable with that yet. And I believe he will be better served if he let Tom do what Tom does. And if that's going to be the offense, that's going to be the offense. Because you're not going to get maximum value for these big play receivers because Tom does not want to put the ball in harm's way. And in BA's offense, he wants you to put the ball in harm's way because he's like, risk it, no biscuit. I thought he was off, Skip. That was a bad interception. I got a little video here, a little montage. I came in this morning. Yeah, came in like 3:30 this morning and put this together. I was in the edit.
I heard you come in at 6.
Don't worry, but see, there you go. Stop drop snitching.
I heard your door open at 6 o'clock after I got here at 4.
You drop snitching. Look at this, Skip. What is that?
I don't know.
What we supposed to do with that, Skip? That's Tom Brady.
It was a great catch by the...
Okay, what about this right here, Skip? What is that?
Well, the guy's covered, and he didn't want to throw another pick 6, so he just threw it.
You can hit it between 8 and 0, and it won't get picked.
You could hit the...
Okay, what about this right here?
Yeah.
What's the excuse? What was that one?
Covered.
Really, Skip?
You know what they always say about Brady? He always throws it where you can't intercept it.
He also,
that's the golden
and guess what he did? He was throwing it where his guys couldn't catch it also. That's also, I guess, one of his rules also.
Okay.
Skip, I'll give him a C- because you expect more from Tom Brady, and I understand it's early in the season. I expect him. I hope he gets better. But right now, Skip, I can't, And then he played Carolina. Let's be real, Skip. How many wins do you think Carolina's going to have at the end of the season?
I thought you loved little C-Mac.
I'm saying I love the player. I'm talking about the team. So over under 5 wins.
I don't know. They play in the toughest division in football.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he not very. Their team is not
I
very.
saw some weapons. Robbie Anderson's a weapon, and DJ Moore is a weapon, and Lil Samuel is a weapon. They got nuclear capability, and then C-Mac is like an MVP.
And now he hurt.
Okay.
He left the game. Boy, yesterday was brutal for injury, Skip. Gee. I'm going to give him a C-. I thought he did some good things. There were some things I didn't think he did really well. And eventually, in order for you to maximize Tom Brady, you're going to have to let him run a lot more of what he's really good at and let him implement a lot of his offense, which utilizes the tight ends and the running backs.
Okay. Somebody on the show has to be objective about Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., and I will be that man right now. I will give him a B objectively, because he deserved it, because his first half was an A+. He was Super Bowl Tom for a half. First half, he throws for 198 yards and a touchdown. They are up 21-zip, and I'm down in the flats below Beverly Hills, below Bel Air. I'm just dancing in my little place.
How many yards you said he threw for in the first half?
98. So he's on his way to a 400-yard
day,
right? So in the second half, he goes 6 of 12 for a grand total of 19 yards, which is no good. Not only has the one interception I cannot defend. There's something wrong with Rob Gronkowski because that throw was in the vicinity, in the direction of Rob Gronkowski. And he looks a little washed up to me, and I don't use the term wash like LeBron does. I use the up at the end of it, as in washed up, as in over. It looks over to me, and I hope I'm wrong about that because they cannot get him a 1-yard pass. They can't even get his hands on the football until he was on the hands team and caught the onside that ended the game.
Well, you know he had one, and they got a pass interference, and the ball hit him in the hands.
And he dropped it.
Yes.
And it was called pass interference. I couldn't even really see it.
I didn't either.
Okay, but it was one of the
They
drops.
called it, right.
Speaking of drops, in the second half, these plays happened in order. If we could see the drops, this is on a 2nd and 15 at the 46. And Brady is going to throw to somebody named Cyril Grayson, who's on his 8th stop in the NFL. If we could see that again, he throws it right up the boundary. Cyril, he's a sprinter from LSU who didn't play college football. There's the second drop.
You do realize the guy's wide open. Just put it on him.
That's Justin Watson for a first down. And here's the play in question. He scrambles. He's got great mobility, and he throws a strike to my man Shady McCoy. LaShawn, you have to catch that. It's just a dart. It's like, thank you, God, I got it. Touchdown. And it's going to break the game open, and it did not. So there are 3 big drops that would have accounted for a lot of yards. And then there was another one of these plays that he's getting really good at. He got little Scotty Miller behind another DB, and he throws him another rainbow, and it results in a 23-yard pass interference. Which shows you once again that works, but that doesn't count on the passing yardage. So it hurts. But I showed you passes that would have added up to, I don't know, 100, 125 yards.
But Skip, the one that you said he hit the guy in the head, Skip, the guy's out of bounds.
I don't even know. But all you got to do is stop and turn with 2 feet in bounds and just catch it.
But do like you did to Mike Evans on that first touchdown. Back shoulder him.
Okay.
That's all you got to do is back shoulder him.
Okay, but it was a highly catchable pass by the receiver because nobody's in vicinity.
Exactly, that's my point.
Uncovered, so just stop at the boundary and plant your feet and turn around and catch the football.
But Skip, you have to understand that is a you said he's a track guy.
He's a track guy. He did not play football at LSU. He just ran track.
Exactly. So
he didn't get it.
So that's when Tom comes in and said, look,
biggest takeaway from yesterday. Why was Cyril Grayson even in the rotation? Because Chris Godwin was not.
Right.
Chris Godwin was ranked by Pro Football Focus last year as the best receiver, the best performing receiver in all the National Football League. In game number 1 at New Orleans, who was the favorite target of Tom Brady? It was Chris Godwin. And all of a sudden, he winds up on Wednesday in concussion protocol and didn't make it out in time for this game. I'm going to assume he will be out of concussion protocol for the game at Denver, which is, as you know, Tom Brady's house of horrors, right? He's got
not anymore.
Denver Demons, right? Yep. Except your quarterback that you love, Drew Lock, he busted his shoulder yesterday against the Steelers, and I don't think he'll be able to play.
No, they say he's going to be out 2 to 6 weeks.
So it's Jeff Driscoll, who nearly beat my Cowboys in Detroit last year.
Skip, the thing is, they're going to have to find a way to run the football better. I know Leonard Fournette had 12 carries for $103.
He's starting to find his way into the Arians offense.
But they had 22 for 122.
Okay.
So they're going to have to get a little bit of consistency at that. And if they can get better consistency at running the football, now Tom is a very good play-action quarterback. So now you'll be able to hit those big throws to Evans. You'll be able to hit those big throws to Godwin. I don't know if Gronk, we're going to ever see the Gronk that we remember. I hardly recognize him, Skip. Because when he throwing the ball to him, and I know, it's like, who the hell is he throwing to? And I'm like, man, that's Gronk.
Yep. As you know, he lost a ton of weight.
Yes.
And maybe he lost his edge, his hunger, his desire to get smacked around the way he used to get brutally smacked.
Skip, it's hard to be, because think about it. When you mentally shut down, you're like, I'm done with this.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden say, you know what? I feel like going back at, I couldn't do it.
Only
I could not.
Because his soulmate went to Tampa and it's sunshine through into January.
Yeah, but Skip, they're not gonna hit your soulmate like they hit you. Nope. So it's a whole different ball game, and I hardly recognize Gronk. And I know it's only 2 games in, and I want to see, hopefully he gets better as it going. But anybody that looks at Gronk and says, man, I can't tell a difference. He doesn't run the same. He seems like he was always kind of like robotic, but it seems like he's laboring when he runs now.
I agree. So I want to see more O.J. Howard. I want to see more Cameron Brate. I want to see, obviously, Chris Godwin back at the top of the pecking order.
Right.
And I did see some progress because 21-0 at halftime, that's how it should look. And I think they were very happy. Maybe they were a little too happy with that, because they came out a little flat in the in the third quarter.
But it looked like he's on the same page with Mike Evans.
Yep.
And that's huge. But it's Skip, I think it's easy to get on page with one guy because when you got two guys that are Pro Bowls, you got to keep them both happy. It's kind of like Jarvis and Odell. Skip Baker got to keep both of them happy.
Yep.
And, I just want to win. You threw him 12, you threw me 3. So Tom understands that dynamic, but he's really never had. He's always basically had one guy. I mean, with the exception, he had Randy and Wes Welker. But for the most part, Skip, it's always just been one guy. For the last, 6, 7 years, it's been Edelman.
Yep.
That was it. He got to feed Edelman and everybody else. Okay, you get what Edelman doesn't get.
Correct.
But when you got 2 dogs and 2 Pro Bowl guys, both of them want to eat.
I like what I'm seeing. I like my chances to win our bet.
Well, I mean, you got two rookie corners in Denver, so you should.
No mercy. The Cowboys had a comeback for the ages yesterday when they found themselves down 20 in the fourth quarter. The Falcons led by 15 with under 5 minutes left, but then it was all Dallas. A pair of Dak touchdowns through the air and on the ground brought it within 2 points. Then came the onside kick that the Falcons watched dribble 10 yards and the Cowboys jumped on. Dak connected with CeeDee Lamb on a 30-yard pass to put Dallas deep in Atlanta territory to hit the game-winning field goal as time expired. Wild there inside Jerry World. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick joining us now. What a game, Mike. I want to start with you. Did the Cowboys win this one or did the Falcons lose it?
The Falcons clearly lost the game. They was in total control in the fourth quarter, 15 points with, under 5 minutes left, and they didn't put their foot on the gas. I mean, in times like that, that's when you bring in a guy like Todd Gurley to eat up some clock and get and seal the deal, put the Dallas Cowboys in a bad position. But throughout the course of the game, the entire game, I really felt like the Dallas Cowboys made mistake after mistake after mistake, and they'll find the rhythm, and then something else will happen, and it just didn't go their way throughout the course of the game. But Dak deserves an immense amount of credit for the win. I think it was a total team win because everybody did their part yesterday. Defensively being banged up, they showed up, at critical moments in the game, and I thought that CeeDee Lamb was probably one of the biggest reasons that the Dallas Cowboys was able to mount this comeback. Of course, Amari Cooper did his part and Zeke. But, the ball was in Dak Prescott's hands the entire game, and he really showed that this was one of his signature wins. So, yes, the Atlanta Falcons gave the game away, but the Dallas Cowboys, they worked hard and they did everything needed and necessary to pull out the win. And you can't take credit away from a win of this magnitude. It's so hard to win in the NFL, especially when you're down and especially when you have to come from behind in the deficit. So, I think this will be a win that can catapult them to greater things and greater heights, as the season continues. But, I feel bad for Dan Quinn. Like Shannon and I talked about a second ago, it can't continuously happen. You're blowing big leads and huge deficits. When you're in total control of the football game. But kudos to the Dallas Cowboys. This was a much-needed win because this conversation would have been totally different this morning if they hadn't.
The Falcons absolutely lost this game. The Falcons gagged this game. And by Dan Quinn doing what he did, he allowed us to take Mike McCarthy off the hook. You cannot, Skip and I, we were discussing this before you came on. They started tracking turnovers in 1933. That's 87 years ago. And when a team had scored at least 39 points, had 0 turnovers, they were 440-0. That's almost 9 decades in which they've been tracking this. 440. So think about how many things you've got to do wrong in order to lose a game like this. And the Falcons did everything they possibly could do wrong in order to lose a game like this. And all would have been forgotten. All you had to do, since they instituted the onside kick rule 2 years ago, less than 10% of the onside kicks have been recovered. Because, Mike, it's not like when you and I played, guys could get a running start and they could blow you up. And guys were looking to blow you up. You can't move until the guy actually kicks the ball. What makes it so more egregious is that they called timeout to see what they were going to do. You saw him put the ball on the ground. So what do you think he was going to do? Kick the ball out the end zone? I mean, dude, he set the ball on the side. The ball, obviously the ball is slick. You can look at it, you can see how slick the ball is because those are not the ball the quarterbacks throw. They get that opportunity to scuff those balls up. But those balls are basically right at the box. So you know with the sheen on the ball, on that turf, the ball is just going to keep spinning and spinning and going further and further. Now, inside of 10 yards, the team that's kicking the ball, they can't touch it. Atlanta, you can touch it. Not only can you touch it, you can fall on it or you can scoop it and score if you so choose. I'm trying to figure, I don't understand this, that an NFL player will sit there and watch the ball go. No, you can get it before it goes 10 yards. That's coaching. That's head coaching. That's special teams coaching. They lost this game. They gagged this game. And given that he lost a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl, you think those players have trust in Dan Quinn? Absolutely not. Arthur Blank, he could have got back on that plane with me. I know he applied Delta. It'll get you there. But not with him. He'd have been on his own. Hey, bro, you good.
So Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Greg the Leg Zerline kicked the ball, whirly birding.
Yeah.
And the idea was to hypnotize all 5 Falcons.
It worked.
It worked. They're hypnotized. They don't know where they are anymore. They're watching it spin. You're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy. And they all just fell asleep.
Yes.
And it just spins and spins. And he kicked it with side spin, clockwise side spin, where it starts to creep right. It's like a putt at Wingfoot in the U.S. Open on green number 1. You have to play these enormous breaks.
Right.
And it's breaking right. And it breaks all the way across the 10-yard mark.
Yes.
Until C.J. Goodwin of the Cowboys, who used to be on the Falcons the year they blew the 28-3 lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, comes flying in right on time and falls on the football. I would have, before that kick, I would have bet 100 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that there's no way they recover this kick. You can't. What are the odds now? Like 3%?
Yes.
It's under 10%.
It's under 10%.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's like 7 or 8.
So, Michael Vick, I was thinking of you last night because obviously I'm a Cowboy fan and I was keying all night because I couldn't figure out how we won or stole that game. But I was also thinking about Michael Vick because some of your heart is in Atlanta because you were originally a Falcon, and a lot of your heart is in Philadelphia where they have become a debacle of a disaster. I don't know what's happened to them, but all of a sudden my Cowboys are somehow 1-1, and it feels like they're 5 games up on the Eagles right now, right?
Yeah. Well, we clearly gave that game away yesterday. You know, like you said, my heart is with the Atlanta Falcons, and I have to look at the flaws, and I have to be realistic about where they are as a football team. And, you know, back to the onside kick, Shannon, you know, we go through situational football. Like, we practice those situations, and if all else fails, you fall on the ball. If it's a penalty, then it's a re-kick.
Right.
You know, but you don't just sit there and watch that ball spin. And the only thing I could think about at that moment was, you know, coaching. How much, you know, throughout this pandemic have you practiced, you know, that scenario? That's a critical moment in the game where everything has to happen right. So, yes, you know, I was very disappointed in the Atlanta Falcons. I root for them. You know, I root for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you know, I got respect for the coaching staffs. But when things like this happen, you know, it's only right to shed light on the things that don't happen because, you know, you take away from the players and these guys give everything they got to win football games. And, you know, for something so seamless to happen in a critical moment at a critical juncture in the game, is just deflating. So, Michael, give me your thoughts on my quarterback, Dak Prescott, because these are my thoughts, and then you bounce off them. The more I watch this young man play football, he is always at his greatest when things look lost, when they seem hopelessly behind. He is outstanding. He is a warrior. He will fight you to the death. Unfortunately, he's fighting to the death again and again. Last year, Green Bay at home, they're down 31-3. Remember, he threw them. He threw for 329 in the second half against 329 against Green Bay, and got them back to a little chip shot
extra point of a field goal, which Maher missed,
Right.
or they would have had an onside kick to tie that game, right? And then you remember him at Chicago. You remember him as a rookie against Green Bay in the playoff game. They fell behind 21-3, and here he came.
Right.
And they got all the way back to 31-28 ahead in that game. So I'm seeing Dak Prescott be at his greatest in these kind of games. But remember what happened last Sunday night, a week ago Sunday night against the Rams. In the second half, he threw for only 79 yards in a teeter-totter seesaw game. And they were 1 of 8 on 3rd down. So, again, I love him coming from behind, but you better pull it off. They were 8-8 last year because they couldn't pull enough of those off. Your thoughts, Michael?
Well, honestly, I think a game like this you can learn so much from, because if you think about it, you're not going to have games where you're going to turn the ball over 4 times in the first half or 3 times, how many times it was. Dak had a fumble, Zeke had a fumble, it was another fumble, and it was mistake after mistake. Like I said before, they found their rhythm. So that's not going to happen every game. They're going to go back and look at this film and, reevaluate it. Of course, preach throughout the week, we can't turn the ball over, which is cliche in the National Football League. And then, you start the game off 0-0, 0-0, and you work from there. So don't put yourself in a vulnerable position and always have to ask Dak to be Superman and bring the team back, because it takes a total team effort to win a football game. We can't just rely on Dak, doing everything. And the ball, of course, being in his hands, he's going to be asked to do everything at a high level. But you still need your teammates to come along with you and, just stay away from those vulnerable situations and get off to a good start, get off to a head start. Sometimes jump out and take a 14-point lead or a 21-point lead. I don't want to continue to see Dak put in these stressful situations. He handled it very well, and he probably will do it the same moving forward, because this is a learning experience, and they know now that they can come from behind to win. So I look at the positives in this, and I think it's a signature win, like I said.
Yeah. Dan Quinn is a defensive head coach.
He is.
In the second half.
He was Seattle's coordinator.
He's Seattle's coordinator. In the second half, the Cowboys had the ball 6 times. 5 drives. They got 4 touchdowns, a field goal. The only time they went for it on 4th down, they got stopped. Now, you're a defensive coordinator. You're the defensive guru.
They scored 30 points in the second half. 30-10 was the second half. Okay.
Yes, that's your expertise. It's kind of like, Skip, if I'm an offensive coordinator and my expertise is on the offensive side of football and I'm getting 3 points, I'm getting 10 points, people going to be looking like, what the hell going on? You're supposed to be this guru. You're supposed to be this mad scientist. And you getting up 3 points. Skip, we used to practice onside all the time. Okay, we go out there, we have a period for onside. And so Mike makes a call for, and all of a sudden, Mike, give me the hands team. Now, you're going to have to remember what you had practiced early in the day. So, back then you could shift and do all that motion. Yeah. Skip, what do they practice? What do you meet?
How many times have you seen somebody pick it up and run with it the other direction?
You can't
get short of 10 yards.
Yes.
Just scoop and go.
And that's what the coaches says, look here, if the ball doesn't go, jump on it. Just fall on the football. That's all you got to do. I don't know what Skip, they do realize that once the ball goes 10 yards, the other team can get it. They let it go 10, as if they didn't know they could get the ball before it went 10. Coaching. They were thinking they were the defense.
Coaching. Yeah. Come on. So, in the end.
Confusion.
Yeah, that's right. My team fumbled the ball 4 times and lost 3 in the first 8 minutes of the game, and I'm ready to fire Mike McCarthy. My team went for it on 4th down out of punt formation, ran 2 fake punts, and failed both times, and I'm ready to fire Mike McCarthy. My defense didn't create a single turnover and sacked Matt Ryan only 1 time with 4 minutes left in the game after they had scored 39 points. And I'm ready to fire Mike Nolan, the new coordinator. What are you doing? And then that happens, and I'm happy. And I don't know how it happened, but they pulled it off. And I'll take it.
I'm seriously happy for Dak.
Skip watching yesterday's game. I have to imagine there were some highs and lows for you.
Oh, that's a big payday for Dak, right? That's $40 million right there. Dak said that's $40 million right there. Thank you very much.
Mike, I would love it if you could stick around, even though the Patriots had that tough loss. Cam looked impressive throwing the football. Let's talk about it after the break.
No mercy.
Cam Newton continues to look impressive for the Patriots. After just 155 passing yards week 1, Cam let it fly against the Seahawks last night, throwing for 397 yards, which is the third most of his career. Cam also had a passing touchdown to go along with 2 more on the ground in the 35-30 loss, and Michael Vick is still with us. So, Mike, are you surprised that Cam threw for nearly 400 yards?
No, I'm not surprised. The entire time I'm watching this football game and I'm watching the offense open up more than it was last week, I had to continue to pinch myself and remind myself that Cam does have an MVP and Cam played in the Super Bowl, both of which I have never experienced. And, I know how hard that is. Even when he was in Carolina, regardless of what system he was in, he was effective. He knew how to play football. It was never a question of Cam's football acumen. It was about opportunity. And, to go out and watch them, come from behind against a good Seattle Seahawks football team, I just was astonished at things that Cam was doing. And, I looked at the offense and I'm thinking that this is going to be Cam as a New England Patriot. He's going to be a New England Patriot for a really long time if he keeps this up. And whatever it is they're throwing at him, whatever concepts that they're putting in place, whatever this offense is or is going to be, Cam has total control over it. And like I said, his football acumen is at an all-time high right now. I think Cam is just, determined, to prove to everybody that he's still, a top-tier player, and only being 31. He has a lot of football left in him, and that has to be evaluated and looked at, when it's time to, make a decision on Cam and his future. So yesterday was a big step for Cam in terms of him putting the league on notice and showing, his coaching staff that he's capable of handling anything that they throw at him, because they opened up the book in the run game, pass game. And yes, he had to throw the football to come from behind, but he did it in good fashion, and he was 1 yard away from an amazing comeback. So, this is confidence for the New England Patriots. It's certainly confidence for Cam, but I'm not surprised because this guy has won an MVP. And like I say, something that I have never done, and I know how hard it is to do.
I think for me, the biggest surprise, Skip, is that they allowed him to throw this much. I believe they should open the offense up even more.
44 times?
Yeah, Skip, he only threw the ball 11 times in the first half. So it's like they're trying to, Skip, you can play this way if you have an outstanding defense.
Yep.
If that defense was playing like it was the first half of last year, and you want to play like this, okay. But Skip, they're not that. And so you're going to have to allow him to throw the ball more. 11 in the first half, 33 the second half. And a lot of that because they were behind, Russ was doing his thing.
And because he had a hot hand.
Right. Man. Skip, if you play Russell Wilson, the likelihood of you winning a ball game 17-14 is not very good.
Nope.
Not the way he's playing. That's like Mahomes. You can't really expect this, like, man, I think we can hold Mahomes to 10 or 13. We can win a 17-13, 17-4. No, you're not. You got to go into the ball game saying, with these top-level quarterbacks, Skip, you got to go and say, man, I need to get to 24. I need to get to 27. Because that's what it's going to take to beat Aaron Rodgers. That's what it's going to take to beat these top 5, top 7 quarterbacks. Yep. So I thought they should have opened up the offense a little earlier. They're trying to play it close to the vest. 25 rushes, 67 yards. Really? Who are you going to beat with that?
What did he run against Miami in the opener? 19 times?
Yeah, no, 15. He had 15 for like 75.
Okay, so this is 11.
11 for 47. Now, granted, Skip, a couple of those was like those short touchdown runs. Yep. So obviously that's a run, but...
Okay, but he didn't take near the pounding in this game he took in the opener. No.
But it just goes to show you, Skip, Cam can throw the ball. I just wish he'd had Josh McDaniels his entire career. Because now you see somebody that has creativity, that has imagination, that just don't want to think he's a fullback, and then we throw at the tail end. He needed someone that could take advantage of his skill set because he has a very unique skill set. But he showed you last night. And my only concern is Cam healthy, because we hadn't seen him healthy in about 2 years, Skip. If Cam's healthy, like Mike said, he won an MVP. You don't accidentally win an MVP of the league because you have to be good, consistent over 16 games. We've seen guys win Super Bowl MVP, Skip, and then they go somewhere else and we never hear from them again. Larry Brown, he got cut from the Raiders because he couldn't play. Deion went to Seattle, got a big payday, ended up coming right back to the Patriots, Skip. So we've seen that happen. Yep. You don't accidentally, man, oh, man, he lucked up and won that MVP. You don't luck up and win an MVP of a league.
Nope.
So I'm not surprised that he had this. I'm surprised they allowed him to show what Cam is still capable of doing, and I'm glad. So hopefully moving forward, Skip, they'll allow him even more opportunities earlier. I'm not saying, you want to have to throw 45, 50 times a game, but allow him to throw the ball a little earlier because he was dealing last night. N'Keal Harry, Bird, guys that we feel like, whoo, had them guys looking like they could play a little bit, Skip.
Even revived Edelman's career.
Look at that, a career high.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, I hear what both you guys just said. I got to tell you, I was shocked by what I saw because that was the best I've seen Cam Newton throw the football since the first month of his career back in September of 2011 when he just set the league on fire. And I've always said it was almost like unfair to Cam because he set his bar so high. In his first pro game, he gets thrown into the fire at Arizona. He throws for 422, and I think, this guy's going to own this league. He comes home against Aaron Rodgers and outguns him even though they lose the game, but he throws for 432. 2 games later, he goes to Chicago and throws for 374. Those are his 3 top games until last night. He almost throws for 400. That's his 3rd most yards. That's the best. He was off the chart last night where I just said, I knew it was in there, but for all these years, that was 9 years ago. There are a lot of years in Carolina when he was really good. He was an MVP, but he didn't throw it like that.
But, Skip, they tried to remember D'Angelo Williams running, Jonathan Stewart running, Christian McCaffrey running.
And North Turner came there, and he had North coach Troy Aikman to championships, obviously, but they were a run-oriented football team with Emmitt Smith.
You're right.
And I'm just sitting back in awe of what was happening, and the irony was Belichick, in the end, let down Cam's night because his defense wasn't good enough to hold up, albeit against Russell Wilson. There's no 12th man, so it was like a mausoleum in there.
Exactly.
There's no sound, but still, Cam played well enough to win the game. So, Michael, then Shannon and I went back and forth about the last play call. What do you think Cam should have done on the last play of the game? Did you like what the route he took to try to get it to the end zone?
Yeah, I think that was about all he can do. And if I'm Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, I'm calling that play because we've seen Cam execute this play at a high level for so many years, date back to his days at Auburn. And we'll continue to see this play throughout the course of the season. It might come in different phases of the game, but this is Cam's signature. This is his signature play. This is what he do. And, it's up to the offensive line to learn to block it better.
Bounce it. Mike, all he had to do is bounce it. Once the guy submarine, you can't go up inside. If he just takes one step to his left, he's in the end zone. Because all he got to do is race him to the corner, Mike. Look at this. Where are you going?
I think by the corner just crashing in, I think, just vision-wise as a runner, I mean, it is there. It is there. And it probably would have been a better option to go outside or inside right here. But I think Cam was just thinking downhill. I can get it, 6'5", 250. This is what I do. And this will be a learning experience for him too, because this play right here can be effective, and I think something else will stem off of this play in terms of how he can bounce it or how he can get outside, because we've seen the pass play off of the same type of concept. So there's more that they'll be able to do. This will be a good learning experience for them as well. So, Michael,
where does the Atlanta Michael Vick take that play?
Oh, I'm taking it outside.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
And it's over.
Yeah, you racing him to the corner.
Yes, look, 5'11", 3/4, 6 feet, whatever you want to give me, and 212 pounds is not going to suffice in that situation. So I'm bouncing outside and using my speed.
Yeah.
Because in a situation like that, Mike, they tell him submarine, knife, everything. We know Cam. We know they're going to put the ball in Cam's hand, and if he bounce it, say, you know what, hey, he bounced it, but you're not going to run between the tackles in this situation. If they throw a pass, because you got to sell out to stop something. You mortgage everything you got to stop Cam running between the tackles, and if he bounces it, you're like, hey, he bounced it. We're playing for him to run up the gut, and he bounced it. Or we playing for him to run, and he threw a pass. You live with that, but you got to say, I'm taking something away. And you make sure you take that away, and he doesn't get that. But I thought Cam has been the good soldier, like, hey, this is designed to go here, let me go here. But knowing that Cam Newton because I've seen Cam race guys to the edge.
Oh, and Seattle's real deal.
Cam still got to speak.
All right, Mike, always a pleasure to have you join us.
No mercy.
Start Saturday strong with a huge doubleheader on Fox. First, Oklahoma looks to avenge last year's loss to K-State on the big noon game of the week, and then the Longhorns take on the Red Raiders only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So, LeBron finished with a double-double for the Lakers, but it was Anthony Davis who was the answer down the stretch for L.A. AD scored the Lakers' final 10 points, including a game-winning 3 at the buzzer for the 105-103 win. And the Lakers now lead the series 2-0. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, what a finish. But how surprised are you that LeBron didn't take that last shot?
Well, look, anytime LeBron's on the floor at the end of the game, I think instinctively we all expect him to get the ball. Just we've seen it for 17 years. You expect him either to take the shot or make the play. So that was instinctively, it was surprising. And Skip, I know your instincts are telling you to kill LeBron, but let me remind you, Michael Jordan did not always take the last shot, okay? So this was the right call. We know LeBron was struggling. We know he's a rhythm shooter. He was hot early. He had lost his rhythm. He struggled in the second half, 4 turnovers, 2 for 8 field goals, 0 for 4 from 3, 6 points. He was not in a rhythm, and AD was. AD had scored their last 7 points, including a 3-pointer. And he, furthermore, you guys know, I've been pushing all year, what's he going to do in the fourth quarter? Can he be a go-to guy in the fourth? He has done that in the playoffs. He shot 64% from the field in the fourth quarter of the postseason, 50% from 3. His scoring in the fourth is up from what it was in the regular season. So he is becoming more of a go-to guy. Even if he had missed this shot, it was the right call for all those reasons. And also because worst case scenario, he misses, you lose. It's still 1-1. And I think that you showing confidence in AD would pay dividends down the road. Just calling that play for him, giving him the shot, lets him know how much you believe in him, how much LeBron believes in him, and that he is your go-to or one of your go-to guys. Sometimes it'll be LeBron, sometimes it'll be AD. But that would breed confidence in him down in further along the line in the playoffs. So I think it was the right play, even if he had missed it, and obviously he makes it.
I totally agree, but just the mere fact that LeBron is on the court, you see what Plumlee did, Skip? He ran to LeBron, and he and Jeremy Grant got LeBron double-teamed, and you let AD get a wide-open pop 3. And as you mentioned, he was in a rhythm because just remember about a minute earlier, he hit a step-back 3 in front of Millsap. And he turns around and talking to the Nuggets bench. I'm that dude. I'm that guy. I'm the one that you came to see. And so for me, he was in a great rhythm. You have 7-foot-tall Jokic guarding the inbound, which is Rondo. You bring Plumlee in, who's a leaper, because I know what the Nuggets are thinking. The Nuggets are thinking they're going to get something going to the basket, Skip. And if you heard Rondo says, I look for him back door, I look for him back door. I made contact with, I tried to make eye contact with LeBron, but he wasn't looking.
What did he say?
He
did not move.
He didn't move. So it tells me now we get AD peeling around. Now, Plumlee is thinking like everybody else. LeBron's going to take the shot because what does he do? He run to LeBron. He's talking about, hey, Grant, like, ain't nobody screening me. What you want me to go get AD for? My guy ain't screening for AD. And so they both run to LeBron. AD pops, hits a 3. But it just goes to show you, Chris, remember, the reason why a lot of people pick the Clippers because they say they were more mentally tough than the Lakers. And what we saw the last 3 games of the season, when the Nuggets made their run, we saw the Clippers fold. Well, last night, they go on a 9-0 run, they take the lead, and the Lakers didn't fold. So what we're seeing is that this team is getting more and more. The more you're in these situations, lose game 1, come back 4 straight. Lose game, run second round, come back, win 4 straight. You see what I'm seeing here, Skip? You see what I'm seeing here, Skip?
I don't see
You see it. Yeah, you go about to see a diamond ring on my finger. That's what
I
you
know
want to see.
what I saw in games 5 and 6, Clippers versus Nuggets. The Nuggets in the fourth quarter made 7 of 9 threes in back-to-back games. It's hard to overcome that. Last night, the Nuggets made 1 of 7 threes in the fourth quarter, and you still almost lost because your man was horrendous in the fourth quarter. He did lose his rhythm. He was in the fourth, LeBron 1 for 6 and 0 for 3 from 3 with 2 big turnovers. So, Chris, back to you. The last play, 2.1 seconds left, was called for LeBron James.
Yeah.
AD said it right after the game. It was called for Bron.
Right.
Why didn't LeBron even move on the play? Because he wanted no part of the play. It's kind of hard when Rondo looks to LeBron, makes eye contact, and he's just standing still. And Rondo had to quickly say, what's plan C here? Because really the fourth option on the play was AD looping all the way across the top of the circle to the wing. And it's a last gasp play. And I got to tell you, it's not a good shot. You only need a point. You just need 1 point. And he takes a 3. And if he had missed that 3, the world would have been all over Vogel. Like, what are you doing? What kind of a play is that? When it should be a lob dunk kind of play. Get to the free throw line.
That's what they were thinking. That's what Plumlee was thinking. That's why AD was able to circle all the way around.
I'm assuming LeBron was supposed to swoop to the hoop. He was supposed to spin away from Grant and try to catch a lob and either get to the free throw line or dunk it at the buzzer to win the game. And instead, Rondo has to flip it out to the wing. And okay, all right, I got it. But it's not what was supposed to happen. And why Mason Plumlee does just run with AD, just run with him.
Because he was
LeBron
thinking like you thinking.
Still.
He's thinking like you thinking. It's going to go James.
Okay, but now the play is we're down to the buzzer. And after you see that LeBron's just standing still, you have no reason to run to him. He's not going to pick you. You don't need to say, Jeremy, go get AD. There's no pick. Mason, what are you doing? And AD goes out there virtually all alone until Jokic, and he's got length and sly length. You know, he's
That's the fastest he's ever moved.
It was. and he rockets back and almost got a hand on it.
Yeah.
But AD shot it like he meant it.
Chris, you remember right before the shutdown?
Yep.
LeBron drove to the basket, kicked the AD against the Nets, and he missed that shot. He missed it. But I say it was a great play. That was the right play. They had built the wall. LeBron got AD a wide open, uncontested 3. Now, the next day in practice, they ran that same set. They showed it. The Lakers put it out and they showed it. AD made it. So that told me right there, LeBron said, guess what? You'll be in this situation again, young fella.
Okay,
and
but they didn't need a 3 in this case. They needed a 1. That's all they needed was 1.
AD said, I just want y'all to know I got this kind of range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But see, the difference also, Skip, you said that the Lakers, that the Nuggets only made 1 3 when they was 7 or 9. Because y'all don't play defense. They talked about them great wing players. Y'all talk about it, we be about it.
Yeah, the Clippers would be up 2-0 on the Lakers right now.
The Clippers
you know it, and I know.
Chris, were the Clippers not up 3-1? So the Clippers went up 3-1 on the Nuggets, but they're going to be up 2-0 on the Lakers.
I can't defend the Clippers.
So
I'm going to say this. I don't want to overstate that shot last night. But assuming the Lakers going to win the championship, which we all think they will, I believe we'll look back at that shot as the official coming out party for Anthony Davis. When he went from being just a great player currently to an all-time great. He'll have a championship. His numbers have always been historically great. And he will begin to move into that category. And here's the other thing. People have said, this is LeBron's last best chance to win a championship. Not necessarily. We know he's 35. He'll be in his 18th year next year. He's getting older. But the natural transition should be for AD to become the #1 guy and LeBron to become the #2 guy, but still be a top 10 player in the league. And he can run the point like Magic Johnson, and they still could win more championships if AD keeps this mentality that he had last night, and I think he will.
And he said it. Go ahead, Skip. Go ahead.
So, Chris, I got to just make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You are giving LeBron James a pass for, on a play called for him, standing still, not moving, not even flinching an inch.
He could have tried to, as you saying, he's supposed to cut to the basket. Plumlee was behind him, so now he's double teamed. I give you, he could have tried to cut. But look, LeBron's not the guy to close every game. We know that. He was in the corner when Kyrie took the big shot. He's closed many. We know he's hit, 5 playoff buzzer beaters, but that is not always what he's going to do. So I got no problem with AD getting that shot at all.
And there's a difference because you say throwing a lob. How does Rondo throw a lob over 7 foot with 6'9" Jeremy Grant fronting LeBron? This is not a situation where Kyle Lowry threw the ball over Taco Fall across court. That's one thing. But just imagine trying to throw the ball up over a guy right there at the basket so he can catch it and get a shot off.
I think you could do that.
No, what we could do is pass this thing to AD on the bounce pass and let him pull up from 28.
You know what? LeBron James got luckier than his Cowboys got yesterday.
Don't do that, Skip.
Yes.
No, don't do that, Skip.
AD took LeBron off the hook.
Hey, you saw what we do, Skip. Yeah. This is what we do. We come out, we take it over the first half, and then we turn it over to AD. And AD gave the benediction and dismissed church. Chris, you know, when you get that benediction, it's over.
So are you saying, wait a second, AD is the MVP of the Lakers?
Hold on, Skip. Now, you just saw LeBron average more points against the Rockets than AD. You saw that. Don't do that. Why you try to see? You always try to start dissension between us. It's not going to happen. We are a 1-2 punch, and on a given night, it might be 2-1. That's what we do. All we try to do is get that chip.
Can we just cancel the next 2 games?
No, you can't. No, we can't. No. That's what the Clippers thought. The Clippers thought. Didn't Mike Malone tell you? Everybody want to see the Clippers and the Lakers. Yep. But we're going to have a little something to say about that. And they did this, Skip.
Nobody wants to see that.
If Denver gets this next game, it's a series. Because they're thinking we should be up 2-1 if they get the next game.
We desperate.
I think that's a big if,
we
though,
desperate.
Chris. That's a big if at this point.
We desperate.
And I'm with...
Chris, we desperate. We down 0-2.
We're trying to move on from this. You had your moment to talk about the Lakers, all right? Enough for now.
No mercy.
The Cowboys had a comeback for the ages yesterday when they found themselves down 20 in the first quarter. The Falcons led by 15 with under 5 minutes left, but then it was all Dallas. A pair of Dak touchdowns through the air and on the ground brought it within 2 points. Then came the onside kick that the Falcons watched dribble 10 yards, and the Cowboys jumped on. And Dak connected with CeeDee Lamb on a 30-yard pass to put Dallas deep in Atlanta territory to hit the game-winning field goal as time expired. So it was an emotional game. Skip, as a Cowboy fan, are you encouraged or discouraged by what you saw yesterday?
Be honest.
Cowboy Nation, you're going to have to forgive me on this one. I cannot tell a lie. As ecstatic as I am, as drained as I am by what I witnessed, the shock of it, the ecstasy, it was one of the great moments in my history of watching my team since I was 10 years old. When I woke up this morning, I was a little more discouraged than encouraged because it's hard to find anything to love about what happened except the final score.
Correct.
I'm looking for metallic silver linings. But in the end, all I know for sure is it was the all-time mental blunder by not 2 or 3 Falcons, 5 Falcons. They surround the football. It's doing its little whirligig, and it's like they were hypnotized watching it go 10 yards, curve toward the 10-yard mark.
Goodness.
I've never seen anything like it in my life, but I'd never seen a kicker set the ball on its side and barely touch it to make it spin clockwise this direction and break toward the marker.
Right.
Okay, so here, what do I see? My team did win the second half 30-10.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
My defense occasionally hung in and made a stop and hold them to a field goal when you needed to hold them to a field goal. I had 2 undrafted tackles get thrown into the fire, into the starting lineup. One, a rookie undrafted from Texas Tech, another second-year undrafted from Indiana. And you know what? I think they held up. I think they did pretty well because Dak only went down 1 time. Did he have some rushers flying in his face? Okay, sure he did. But again, my quarterback's a warrior. But we know he's a warrior. It's what he does. He's at his greatest when all appears lost. But how great was he a week ago Sunday night at L.A. in the second half? He wasn't very good.
Nope.
He was 1 for 8 on the offense, 1 for 8 on third down, and he threw for a grand total of 79 yards in the second half at Rams. Yesterday, he threw for 312 in the second half, second only to his 329 in the second half last year against Green Bay at home when they fell behind 31-3. It's what he does. He led the whole National Football League last year in second half yards passing, and it wasn't even close, mainly because they got behind so much. He was great trying to throw them back into the game, and they went 8-8.
Right.
Somehow, they stole that game yesterday, and it makes me happy because I saw CeeDee Lamb start to emerge. I'm not saying he took the game over,
right,
but you could see what I've been talking about, right? And by the way, after losing Blake Jarwin in the opener, which I thought was a crushing blow, I used to call him Shannon Jarwin because he had some monster game last year. All of a sudden, a fourth-round kid, Dalton Schultz, who's barely done anything for this team, he was back in he was the 2018 draft, so he hadn't done very much, but he gets thrown into the fire, and he gets the most targets and the most catches yesterday. He also fumbled. So in the first 8 minutes of the game, how am I supposed to like the fact that my team fumbled 4 times and lost 3? When have you ever seen that in your life?
No.
4 fumbles in the first 8 minutes of the game? It's hard to do, man.
Right.
It shows you were not ready to play. The new head coach did not get you ready to play. So the new head coach has the guts to go for it from punt formation twice, and they run 2 pretty stupid plays to me, and they fail both times.
Right.
And then the new head coach goes for it for 2 with 5:03 left, when I think you can argue it's good. It's okay to go for it there if you score.
Right.
You better make the 2-point conversion. And I didn't love the play call.
I just believe in that situation. You take the PAT. You're down 8. You know exactly, because if you like you said, you miss this, you're down 9. There is no 9-point plays.
It's over.
Yes. Yes.
And I
absolutely.
thought it was over.
Yes. So did I.
So in the end, what am I supposed to think about a defense? What was my issue with it all last year? Does not force turnovers.
Nope.
It forced 0 yesterday. You want to give your stat again? It's the all-time greatest stat ever.
It says 1933 when they first started tracking turnovers. Team that scored at least 39 points with 0 turnovers were 440-0.
And 0. And now they're 440-1. Thanks to Dan Quinn.
The Falcons are one of a lot of things. No team had ever come more than a 10-point deficit in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Except one.
Right.
What?
So as happy as I was, do I see progress on defense? Not really.
Not really.
Did I see Aldon Smith take the game over like I thought he was at Rams? No. He had 5 tackles, 2 solos.
Skip. You keep mentioning Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith has been out of football for 5 years.
Yep.
When is DeMarcus Lawrence? When are you going to mention his name? Skip, he's making $21 million. And I did not even know he played yesterday. Did he get hurt? I don't know.
I'm looking. I don't know.
Skip, that's ridiculous, Skip. For $21 million.
You know what? That's a good point. I forgot about him yesterday because they never called his name. I don't know. Okay, so they sacked Matt Ryan 1 time with 4 minutes left in the game after he'd scored 39 points. Is that good?
No.
No, it's not good. So guess where they have to go now? They get to go all the way up to Seattle. And again, there's no 12th man in the stands. But still, you saw what Russell Wilson did last night to the Patriots and did to the Falcons.
And he got some receivers. Metcalf, Moore, Lockett, Skip. They can play.
They can play. Hey, Metcalf was beasting on Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah. Hey, Skip, I got to agree with you. I mean, they should be very discouraged. They really should be 0-2, but they got gifted a victory, so they're 1-1. But when I look at their defense, Skip, am I pleased? We're back to where we are. We're not getting really turnovers. We're not pressuring the quarterback, and you gave up 39. You gave up 39 points. Yeah, you could have given up more. And then the question is, Skip, and then you said those young guys, those tackles held up. But what happens when you're in a close ball game and people are not going to let you nickel and dime your way and they bring pressure on you?
Yep.
Because they really didn't bring pressure because they say, look, we got a 20-point lead. Let's just make them nickel and dime their way. We'll play base deep. We'll play 4 guys. But when you get in a close ball game, you're down 7 or you're up 3. Teams are going to come get that.
They will.
And can those tackles hold up in that situation? So looking at it from the first 2 games, I would be very discouraged. because I haven't seen what I thought I would see at this point. And granted, it's early in the season, but it's early in the season for Baltimore, and they picked right up where they left off. It's early in the season for Buffalo, and Josh Allen is wheeling and dealing.
He is.
And there are some teams that it's early in the season for a lot of teams, and they look a lot better than. And considering the Cowboys, because they're so talented, you look at the offensive line, and you look at the wide receivers, and yada yada yada. So if I'm the Cowboys, I would be discouraged. I'm pleased I got a victory, but I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to start to see more. We'll see a lot more next week.
But at least I'm less discouraged than an Eagles fan.
Man, whatever.
Carson Wentz, W-I-N-C-E, because I wince every time I see the lowlights of his performance because he's throwing a lot of picks and losing a lot of fumbles.
It was bad yesterday, and the ball's starting to come out. Every time he hits the ground, the ball's coming out. That's not good.
Nope. So the Cowboys have like a 5-game lead now.
It feels like it.
Right?
It really feels like it.
Yep.
Washington, the football team, should be in first place in that division, and the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles all should be 0-2.
And I'm sorry about Saquon from my heart. I'm knocking on wood for his recovery, but still, that takes what heart there is out of the Giants.
Yeah, it goes.
Well,
it's going to be. Ooh.
So many injuries yesterday, too. And I know that you come to expect it, but it felt like the list just went on, which is the hardest part about the game that we all love, guys.
No mercy.
LeBron James said Giannis was deserving of winning the MVP this year, but he felt differently when he found out he received only 16 of the possible 101 first-place votes. LeBron said it, quote, pissed me off when he found out. So, Shannon, do you like that LeBron so strongly voiced his frustration?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, we ask our athletes to be honest and be open with us, and when they're honest and open with us, we're like, well, don't say that. Yeah, he should have, and he should have been upset. And I think deep down, Skip, he knows he probably should have more MVPs than what he has. And I think sometimes you just get fatigued of voting for the guy. Jordan probably should have more than 5. You know, the Manning and Brady probably should have more than 3. Manning does have 5, but Brady probably should have more MVPs, and you kind of get burnt out. It's like, someone winning an award, you're like, dang, I just want somebody else to win. And that's probably what happened with the Patriots, Skip. It wasn't that people hated the Patriots, it's that you just get tired of somebody winning all the time. And I think that's what happens. Bron has finished second 4 times, tied with Larry Bird and Jerry West.
Yep.
And I think 16. So you mean to tell me only 16 of you guys, if you watching the game, think that that's it? And he's like, when you just look at it, and it's just hard, and you watch the Lakers play when LeBron is not on the court, and you watch, Skip, because we saw they're in the playoffs and they won a game without Giannis. Giannis get hurt, they won without Giannis.
Yep.
We know the Lakers not winning a game without LeBron James, Skip. He's more valuable to his team than what Giannis is to his team. That's not to diminish. I mean, the guy's 29, 12, and 5. It's but
Defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year. And like LeBron says, hold on. There was a year that I won the MVP, and I lost out Defensive Player of the Year to Marc Gasol.
He did.
And Marc Gasol was not even on the first team.
Second team.
He was on second team.
2013.
Yes. Yeah. And LeBron says, hold on, wait a minute. How can you be Rookie of the Year if you don't make first team All-Rookie? How can you be the MVP of the league and you're not first team All-NBA? They would have never allowed that to happen. But somehow they allowed a guy that was on the second team.
Yep.
Skip, how can you be the Defensive Player of the Year and you're on the second team All-Defensive? So LeBron is absolutely right. I believe he had a stronger case for MVP, but he didn't win it. So if you're going to win this title, that'll make up for it, LeBron.
Okay. So, for once, I am completely with LeBron on this. I told you just before the pandemic hit, I sat right in this chair and said, I believe he is edged ahead in the MVP race.
Right.
And then quarantine hit.
Right.
Remember the last 3 games before quarantine? He was sensational.
Yes.
Remember how we've talked about narratives win MVPs? Mm-hmm. He was washed. He was the wash king a year ago. I'm showing the blooper tape. And now he's bounced back, and he's dominating the league.
Led the league in assists.
It's a great story, and it should have had a fitting into it.
Correct.
And it did not. And for LeBron, he's right to say this publicly because he's questioning the voting mentality. What does it mean? What are your, he said, what's your criteria for this? Because 88 people voted for Giannis and 16 voted for LeBron. That's just wrong.
Right.
If maybe Giannis won by 5, you'd say, okay. It was the closest LeBron has finished in his 4 seconds.
Right.
But still, it was 88-16 in first place votes.
Right.
So he's saying, I don't know how much we are really watching the game, we meaning the voters.
Right.
Because to your point, if you watched every night as closely as we watched LeBron, you'd say, come on, stop.
Not even close.
It's not close. I got it. Giannis won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. Only 2 other humans have ever done that, Jordan and Olajuwon. Yet LeBron is even making the case, well, back in 2013, I should have been in that company also.
Yes.
Because I played well enough to be the Defensive Player of the Year, and somehow Marc Gasol won it. And I don't know why, because he was second-team All-NBA.
Skip, somebody got to offer an explanation for that one.
Okay, I agree. So in the end, I like that I like the way he said it this time. It pissed me off. That's my true answer. And I believe for once he was not trying to manipulate.
Right.
He wasn't trying to win sympathy. He was just saying, it got me.
Right.
And I deserve to tell you guys, it got me.
It's like Jordan. I mean, Jordan every year. If somebody won it, he's like, oh, y'all gave it to Barkley? Okay. Well, guess what? If I see you in the finals, I'm going to bust your head. Oh, y'all gave that to Karl Malone? If I see you in the final, I'm going to bust your head.
Okay.
So I guess that's the ultimate revenge that he can get, is that get to the finals, win the title. I guess that's the only consolation prize.
Finals MVP.
That's it. That's it.
That'll work, right?
Because I just, like I said, Skip, it's not that, like I said, and people think like if you like talk about someone else, you're trying to diminish what someone else has done.
He was very careful to say Giannis had a hell of a year.
He had a hell of a year. Yeah. But Skip, what's the impact? I mean, you and I both know, if we watch the games, nobody's thinking that Giannis is a better player or was MVP more valuable to his team than LeBron. Nobody has that kind of value.
Now we know what we've seen or not seen from Giannis in the postseason.
Right.
So that undercuts his value during the regular season to me, because you know too much. This is a regular season award, obviously.
We know if LeBron, Skip, the likelihood, if Giannis, I believe in the East, if Giannis is not playing, they still make the playoffs. They might not be the #1 seed. Clearly, they're not going to be the #1 seed. But you mean to tell me they're not going to be the 7th or the 8th seed? We and I both know when LeBron was making it in the East, if LeBron's not on that team the last year, Skip, they're not even making the playoffs. They're in the lottery.
Yep.
And this year, we see how the impact that LeBron has when he's on the court versus when he leaves. Now, Rondo's come back and been playoff Rondo. Rondo's been unbelievable. But for LeBron to get only at 16, okay, if you didn't want to, it should have been the closest finals. It should have been the closest MVP vote in history, given what he's done.
Well, he's going to get even, because he's going to win the championship and he's going to be the Finals MVP.
Skip.
And it's not even
Skip.
hard to do.
Skip.
It's like it's
Skip.
over.
Stop.
It's cakewalk.
Stop. I want you to stop, because I know what you're trying to do.
I give up.
I know what you're
I
trying
give
to do.
in.
Skip, I know what
It's
you're trying to do. Skip,
I'm not
I know
trying
you.
to do
No, I've
anything.
been with you for 4 years now.
Tell the Nuggets to go back to Denver, please.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Their bubble has burst.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
No mercy. This morning, Deion Sanders was officially introduced as the head coach of Jackson State with a marching band and plenty of other fanfare. Primetime will look to turn the program around, who hasn't had a winning season since 2013. Shannon, what does this mean for historically black colleges?
I would expect nothing more than an entrance like that from my guy Time. I think he's going to do an unbelievable job, Skip. I think this could be a game changer, because he's always wanted to coach, and here's someone that's going to make help these guys become better people, better men, and obviously he can help them on the football aspect. And so hopefully he's very charismatic, going and sitting on some mom's or grandmom's couch, family's couch, and talking to them about what he wants to do as far as being mentors in their life, and helping them get to the next level. I really hope this works out. I hope this is a game changer for HBCUs.
It will work out. This is the best story I've heard in a long time. It's all about don't talk about it, be about it.
Correct.
This is being about it. This is moving to Jackson, Mississippi to say, I can do this for you.
Right.
And trust me on this, Mike Leach at Mississippi State, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, they are saying, ooh, no.
Yeah.
Because Deion will start out-recruiting them for the best kids in the state of Mississippi.
Absolutely.
The little Jackson State, right in the middle of the state capital, Jackson, Mississippi. Just watch. A lot of attention, A lot of national media will gravitate to Jackson, Mississippi because all of a sudden they will start dominating. I know Deion not as well as you do, but well enough to know he wins at everything he does.
Skip, and he's like, hey, I got contacts. You know, I played in this league. I know what it takes to play in that league. So, hey, guys, I can get you prepared just like they can at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, just like they can at LSU and Alabama and all these other schools. Guess what? We got coaches that got NFL that's coached that have played in the NFL, and they can get you ready to play here. So, Skip, like I said, hey, Tom, I can't help you recruit because I'm trying to get guys to go down to Savannah State, but I wish you all the luck, bro. Because, you know, we try to get that thing right at the blue and orange, them Tigers.
Nobody's going to Savannah.
Oh, yeah, they're going to Savannah
going
State.
to Jackson State.
They're going to Savannah State. They're going to Savannah State, baby.
I love the welcome, and I'm just excited to see what he does. How can you not be excited after seeing that video? That is it for Undisputed. Great stuff. We're back same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a good day.